very clear and apparent. The owners let it be known. We're not doing that $10.5 million cap thing y'all was talking about. Any offer y'all sent with those last two offers, y'all shouldn't have brought it in this meeting. We're not doing a $10.5 million salary cap. We're not doing a 30% revenue sharing. You wasted your time getting on a plane if that's what you showed.
One ownership made it clear they are not moving forward with that $10.5 million salary cap idea. They are also refusing any 30% revenue sharing model. And now new details are emerging that the players themselves are not unified. Some players want to walk out, others want to accept the offer and collect their checks. This is exactly what it looks like when negotiations unravel in real time.
Via Alexa Philippou, the WNBA and WNBPA met in New York City for about 3 hours today. The player delegation included Nneka Ogwumike, Alicia Clark, Brianna Turner, and Stephanie Dolson. Nafisa Collier and Kelsey Plum had travel issues and didn't make it to New York. Ogwumike and company declined to comment on the PA's way out.
That's how long the WNBA Players Association spent sitting face-to-face with league owners in New York City on Monday. The player group included Nessa Umik, Kelsey Plum, Brianna Stewart, and others. This was the meeting they had been pushing for over the course of several weeks. They wanted Adam Silver present. They wanted to sidestep Kathy Angelbert and negotiate directly with ownership. They got precisely what they requested, and it blew up in their faces. According to multiple ESPN reports, the owners entered the meeting and immediately shut down the players' latest proposal. No $10.5 million salary cap, no 30% revenue split. The message couldn't have been clearer. If that was your position walking into the room, you shouldn't have bothered boarding the plane.
Very clear. Let me see this right here. That the players, they was doing this whole we're on one front. We're all agreed and we're all in for everything. We're on the same page. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And now it's coming out that the owners they stood their ground in this meeting, and the players are now
Here's where things start to get complicated. The WNBA Players Association has spent months projecting unity, standing together, refusing to budge, granting the executive committee authority to call a strike if needed, full solidarity, at least on the surface. But that image does not match what's happening privately. ESPN is now reporting serious disagreement within the 7-member executive committee itself. This isn't just tension among the general membership. This is division at the very top of union leadership. Some leaders believe this is the moment to fundamentally reshape the league's revenue sharing structure, and that compromise should be off the table. Others believe the players have already made major gains and are closer to a deal than they think. In plain terms, some want to strike, some want to sign, and ownership is well aware of it.
Divided. Y'all lied. Y'all said y'all all was on the same page. Y'all said that, we got this under control. What? We will not effing move. In the words of Natasha Clark, we will not effing move. We will not effing move. Well, your ass about to get moved over. Another group says that though there are still some matters to be negotiated, the players have already gained significant ground and are closer to a deal.
What this means from a strategic standpoint is significant. The players spent months building leverage. They approved a strike authorization. They went public with their demands. They pushed hard for a direct meeting with ownership. They believed they were negotiating from a position of strength. Instead, ownership called their bluff. And now internal disagreements are spilling into the public sphere. That doesn't happen by accident. When leverage starts to collapse, information leaks. Sources speak up. Fault lines show. Nneka Ogwumike left Monday's meeting without saying a word. That silence tells you everything. When talks go well, union leaders rush to brief the media. When talks go badly, all you hear is no comment.
But it's clear that some of y'all don't. It's clear. So there seems to be a real divide amongst the players here. And let's be real, am I surprised? No. Not surprised by this. We're not surprised by this. At the end of the day, these players have done everything they can to push the fans away and all of this stuff. And now, you got Nneka Ogwumike saying she has no comment on the situation.
Now let's focus on the money, because this is where conflicts of interest become impossible to ignore. The current CBA proposal would allow elite players to earn between $400,000 and $500,000 per season. For most WNBA players, that amount is transformative. It represents stability. It means no longer needing to play overseas during the offseason. But here's the catch. A strike does not affect everyone equally. Players like Breanna Stewart and Napis Collier are involved with Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league that offers significant salaries and equity opportunities. Others, such as Nneka Ogwumike and Kelsey Mitchell, have deals with Project B, another alternative league. These players have financial options beyond the WNBA. They can afford to miss a season, but what about players like Sophie Cunningham? What about solid mid-tier players without seven-figure endorsements or ownership stakes in startup leagues? Do you really think they want to walk away from $400,000 to go on strike? Of course not.
Y'all thought Adam was going to bend the knee and allow the other owners to go into a $700 million hole for y'all? Absolutely not, man. Are y'all crazy? This is crazy. The WNBA and WNBPA met for 3 hours. The players, so Nneka was there, Alicia Clark was there, Brianna Turner was there. Can we please get Brianna Turner off the Indiana Fever? Please get this lady off the Indiana Fever. Steph Dolson.
Ownership understands this imbalance perfectly. They know the union is not as cohesive as it claims. They know that every week without a deal increases doubt among players about whether striking is worth it. They also know that a work stoppage could actually benefit stars like Breanna Stewart and Mafisa Collier by funneling talent and attention toward Unrivaled. That's why ownership drew a firm line during Monday's meeting. They aren't bargaining with a single unified group. They're dealing with a divided coalition with competing interests, and they're wagering that the players fracture before the owners do. The players pushed for a face-to-face meeting because they believed direct access to ownership would shift the balance. They expected Adam Silver to step in. They believed NBA ownership would be more sympathetic than Kathy Angelbert. They were mistaken. NBA owners are not going to load their franchises with $700 million in debt to satisfy player demands. That's not how business operates. That's not how negotiations function. And the players just learned that lesson the hard way.
Stuff maybe, so it probably was a good thing that the weather didn't allow them to get there. And you see, shout out to my boy Shane GT, man. We gotta go live. He said WNBPA has horrible representation. Look, probably for the best fee didn't make it. She's not exactly disciplined in her messaging. So the delegation was made up of, in the grand scheme of things, nobody that has a following or even a big name, just people you would pass on in the street and not even recognize. Smart. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. But get down in the comments, let me know what y'all think.
Caitlin Clark said it openly weeks ago. Both sides need to compromise and finish this. She wasn't addressing ownership. She was speaking to the Players Association because she understands something the executive committee appears to have overlooked. The WNBA's leverage has limits. The league is growing, but it is not yet profitable. Ratings have surged because of a small group of stars, not because of widespread league popularity. And if those stars sit out an entire season, there's no guarantee viewers return. Players continue pointing to record viewership as justification for a larger share, while owners are focused on actual balance sheets. Revenue is rising, but expenses are rising too. Expansion is coming, and expansion requires massive upfront investment. Media rights negotiations are ongoing, but nothing has been finalized. Players want salaries based on future projections. Owners want salaries grounded in current revenue. That's the core divide. What comes next is critical. Players must decide quickly. Training camps are approaching. Rosters must be finalized. Sponsors need clarity. Broadcasters need schedules. Every day without a deal weakens the player's position, because every day more players begin calculating the math. $400,000 for 5 months of work, or nothing while hoping a strike forces concessions. For most players, that calculation is simple. The executive committee authorized a strike, but authorization alone isn't enough. They need most players to actually participate. If even 20 or 30% choose to cross the line and play, the strike collapses, the union splinters, and the players lose leverage. Nico and the rest of the leadership are now boxed in. They pushed aggressive demands. They raised expectations. They aired frustrations publicly. And now they're facing owners who refuse to blink. That leaves two options: retreat and accept a compromise that looks like weakness, weakness, or follow through on a strike that risks tearing the union apart and undoing years of progress. Ownership knows this. That's why Monday's meeting was so rigid. They're no longer negotiating terms. They're forcing a decision. Take the deal on the table or gamble on a strike that may not hold. And here's the painful truth. Ownership may be right. The WNBA has real momentum. Caitlin Clark's rookie season brought unprecedented attention. Angel Ree, Cameron Brink, and the rest of the rookie class pulled in new audiences. Ratings rose across the board. This is the ideal moment to build on that energy with a full season. A strike kills that momentum. It turns a growth narrative into a labor fight. It reframes rising stars and exciting play as greed versus stubbornness. It gives casual fans an excuse to disengage permanently, and it hands leverage to alternative leagues like Unrivaled that are positioning themselves as the future of women's basketball. Players believed they were negotiating from strength. They assumed sold-out arenas and high ratings gave them leverage. Ownership just proved leverage only matters if you're willing to use it. And they don't believe the players are ready to sit out a season. They believe the union will crack first. They believe mid-tier players will accept the deal. After Monday's meeting, that belief looks justified. Natiko left without comment. ESPN published reports of internal divisions within hours. The long-awaited meeting with ownership didn't unify the players. It exposed how fractured they really are. So here's the question players must answer soon. Are they willing to give up a season for a better deal? Are they willing to risk careers, financial stability, and league momentum for a few more percentage points of revenue sharing? Ownership has made its stance clear. They will not bury their franchises in debt to satisfy demands. The decision now rests with the players. Accept a deal that significantly improves the current CBA, or strike and hope unity holds long enough to force concessions. But if even a small number choose to play instead, everything falls apart. Monday was supposed to be the turning point. The players finally got ownership in the room. They finally got Adam Silver involved. They finally got the face-to-face negotiation they demanded, and it failed completely. Ownership stood firm. Divisions went public. Time is running out. Options are shrinking. So what happens next? Do the players take the deal and move forward, or do they follow through on a strike and risk it all? Drop your prediction in the comments, because this situation is about to escalate fast. And if you want updates as it unfolds, hit subscribe, because this story is far from over.